Hi, I'm Scott Skelly from Skelly's Farm Market in Janesville, Wisconsin, and I'm a strawberry farmer. Now, you might be working on a project in your class where you just read the book, I Love Strawberries. And you know what? I love strawberries too. And as a strawberry farmer, I want to share a little bit more information about how we grow strawberries on our farm here in Janesville. So whether you're watching from somewhere in Rock County or anywhere around the state of Wisconsin, I sure hope you enjoy the strawberry project that you're doing right now. Now, strawberries are really cool because they're so different than any other vegetable that we grow on our farm here at Skelly's. See, most things when you want to grow, what do you need to plant on the ground? You need to plant a seed, right? Well, strawberries, we don't really necessarily plant a seed. It's a little bit different. So our plants actually come to us already as little started plants from a nursery way out east. And that's because they took and actually dug up plants the year before. And we'll talk in a minute about how those plants actually came to be. But when those plants come to us at the farm here, we have our field all worked up and tilled in nice soft soil, just like we would do with corn or soybeans or melons or tomatoes or any other crop we might grow. But with our strawberries, we're going to start planting these little plants in the ground. Now, when we plant a field of strawberries, which is maybe anywhere around 4 acres in size, which is about like 4 football fields, that's a lot of ground. And that might take as many as 40 to 50,000 plants that have to go into the ground. That's a lot of plants. Now, do any of you think you'd want to have to go and plant 40,000 plants by hand in the ground? I don't think so. So we do have machines that help us. Now, these machines might not be as big as a giant corn planter going across the field, but it is big enough for some people to sit on the machine. Now, our machine actually holds 4 people at once as we go across the field, planting 2 rows of plants at a time. So we take the plants, we go and we put them into the machine, the little fingers grab them, it turns and drops the plants into the ground and adds a little bit of water along the way too. We'll also water those plants that day just to make sure they start growing good. So now that we have the strawberries in the ground, unlike Jolie in the book you read, they don't just magically start having berries real soon. It's a process that takes a little bit of while. So when we plant our strawberry plants in maybe late April, by early June we'll start seeing growth and green and those plants are getting big. And June is a time that we normally think, hey, it's strawberry time in Wisconsin, right? But actually in our first year of growing strawberries, we actually go through and cut all the flowers off the plants. Now wait a minute, I thought that strawberries were growing strawberries, not flowers. But did you know that every strawberry that grows on a strawberry plant first has a start as a flower? And those flowers eventually change from being a flower into being a strawberry. So wait a minute, Scott, if we went and cut all those flowers off, we're not gonna have any strawberries, right? Exactly. The first year of growing strawberries here on our farm, we won't harvest any strawberries off that field. So we need to plan ahead to make sure we have plenty of strawberries for the right year at the right time. So once we go and cut those flowers off, we're doing that because we want the plants to spread and get bigger. And Jolie talked a little bit in some of her notes in the book about this, that strawberries actually have something called runners. And they're this little stem that comes out and spreads to set new plants down in the field. Now these runners will make it thick from being this little thin row to a really thick row of strawberries. And those strawberries will keep growing all summer. And again, if we think of other things you might have grown in a garden like tomatoes, you hit the end of the year and they just kind of die. They're done at a certain point. But our strawberries are much like a tree. They actually go dormant in the winter, like we see right now where I'm standing out in our field of strawberries, covered with snow today, right? But before long, it'll start warming up. And we've actually went at the beginning of winter and we covered all our strawberries with a mulch. You can see it's kind of this fluffy, dry corn stalks. Some farms will use straw. And we actually put our strawberries to bed for the winter. They kind of go into hibernation. And it does 2 things for us. One, we want those plants to not get too cold. So earlier this winter, when we had temperatures, that were freezing temperatures, school was getting canceled because it was so cold. We didn't want our strawberries to get damaged from it getting too cold in the winter. So the mulch helps protect from that really, really cold Wisconsin weather. The other part it does, though, is in this last week here, even though there's snow on the ground now, it was 60 degrees a couple days ago, which was warm. We were out wearing our t-shirts, but the strawberries aren't ready to wake up yet for the year. Why? Because it could still snow, right? So by having a mulch, it's kind of like tucking them under the covers and they didn't even know that it warmed up that day. So those are some of the ways that we take care of our strawberries over the winter. And now, once we come into year 2, the year after we planted those strawberries, we're finally gonna be ready to start picking strawberries. Our rows will be nice and thick and bushy with lots of plants because those runners spread out lots of new plants across the ground. And they are going to start growing some blossoms. And eventually those blossoms will turn into strawberries. Now, hopefully in your class with your teacher, you will talk about all the great things that you can make with strawberries. I know I just love eating strawberries. I love them on yogurt or putting them on pancakes or on top of waffles or eating strawberry shortcake. Or here at Skelly's, we even make strawberry donuts, which are delicious. There's lots of good things you can do with strawberries. Now, when do you think we picked strawberries in Wisconsin? Anybody have any ideas? Shout it out if you know. All right, if you said June, that's right. Our strawberries in Wisconsin here usually come on right after school gets done for the year. But you know what? They only last for about 2 to 3 weeks. It's this really short season. Now, wait a minute. If you went to the grocery store today, I bet you might actually be able to find some strawberries there. Or maybe your teacher actually brought strawberries into school for you today. Now, do you think they came out to our farm to pick those strawberries? Probably not, unless you're in school in June and watching this. No, they didn't come and get those. So where do those strawberries come from? Well, those strawberries are probably grown somewhere way down south, like Florida or California or Mexico, where it is warm this type of the year. Now, it's kind of crazy, but down there, they don't get the cold winters, so they don't have this whole process of planting strawberries one year, picking them the next year. They actually have to plant the strawberries and not cut those blossoms off. They don't give their plants a chance to spread runners and really get bigger because they don't have that cold winter months to let the strawberries know, oh, it's time to go to sleep and we're going to reset. So it's interesting how strawberries can be grown in different ways in different parts of the countries. And even sometimes around here, it's not real common, but there's farms that'll grow strawberries in greenhouses. And that lets them be able to pick them for longer periods of time. Now, I like the strawberries that only come on in June. Why? Not because it's short. I mean, that part's kind of sad. We only get 2 or 3 weeks of strawberries. But I think those types of strawberries that only grow for a little bit are some of the best tasting strawberries you can find. If you're eating strawberries in your class today, I bet they're okay. They're kind of good, but probably maybe a little bit crunchy because they had to survive being on a semi-truck all the way from Florida or California or Mexico. They needed to handle all that bouncing and sitting. If you came to our farm or any other strawberry farm in Wisconsin, chances are if you pick your strawberries, you can't leave them sit in your refrigerator a whole week like you might be able to do with the ones from the grocery store. That's because there's different varieties of strawberries. And we can think of varieties much like different types of dogs. You might have a poodle, which is a little tiny dog, and you might have a giant pit bull or Great Dane dog that could be a lot bigger dogs. They're all dogs, right? But they have different characteristics. Some are small, some are big, some are different colors, and strawberries can have the exact same thing. They have different characteristics. So the strawberries that grow in Florida are typically kind of hard strawberries. You bite into them and there's a crunch. Well, that's a good thing. If you're trying to ship it all the way from Florida, you need it to be a little bit hard. But unfortunately, they haven't quite figured out how to make strawberries that are hard and have super good flavor. And that's why our Wisconsin strawberries are just so delicious. We're so lucky to live in a state like Wisconsin where we have these really good summer strawberries. Again, they don't last very long, but they really make a fun part of eating them and just enjoying that great strawberries. Now, I encourage you, if this summer your family has time to get out and visit a strawberry farm. If you're here in Rock County or nearby, by all means, come out to Skelly's. We got all sorts of fun things to do. You can come out on our fields and pick strawberries. You can go to our bakery. You even get to play on a playground when you come to our farm. But you know what? I have a lot of other friends across the state that also grow strawberries, and they have some fantastic strawberry farms too. So even if you're not in the Rock County area, get out there this June and enjoy strawberries. Now, for some of you that are watching this video, you got a big project ahead of you. You're going to be writing all about why you love strawberries, and I hope that I've taught you a few things along the way about why strawberries are cool. Now, just as Jolie saw in the story, it takes a lot of work to grow strawberries, and it certainly takes us a lot of work to grow them here at the farm. But we hope whether you grow them yourself or come to one of the great Wisconsin strawberry farms, you can enjoy some great Wisconsin strawberries this summer.